Dear Mr. and Mrs. Singh, I find it difficult to put into words the deep sorrow and profound respect I feel as I write this letter to you. And I cannot presume to feel even a tiny fraction of the devastation and grief that the both of you are feeling now. You've been informed about your beloved son, Captain Deepak Singh's death in the line of duty, fighting terrorists in Doda near Jammu today. Ever since we heard this terrible news, we spent the day telling our viewers about your beloved son. How he was part of the brave 48 Rashtra Rifles, one of several units, as you know, engaged in the unprecedented expansion of counter-terror duties in the Jammu region. We're showing our viewers pictures of young Deepak, the fine lad that you raised and sent into the Indian Army. Tomorrow we'll see pictures of you lighting your son's funeral pyre and bidding him farewell. The bitter truth is, as much as we pay tribute to young Captain Deepak today, he will be lost from our memory. Us in media and public life, living on only in the minds of you, his parents, his family, his friends, and his proud unit, the 48 Rashtra Rifles. It has always struck me as deeply ironic that the greatest braves live the shortest in our collective memories. It's incredible when one thinks of what your 26-year-old son did. As you both know, and I'm sure were very proud, Deepak held the captain rank, but so promising was your son as a young leader of men, and so impressive were his talents in the line of duty, he was made a field major, which means even as a captain, during a field posting like the one he was on in Doda, he got to sport a higher rank of major, allowing him to lead a company of 130 soldiers. As proud parents of army men, I'm sure you know this already, but the vast majority of people are probably stunned to hear that in the Indian Army, a 26-year-old leads such a huge team. 130 soldiers is no joke. But none of us are surprised. Now that we've heard about what Deepak did, he led his men from the front, assuming all the risk in his effort to establish where the hiding terrorists were in one of the most thickly forested areas of Doda, and to pin them down. So sharp were your son's methods that the terrorists had no idea that Deepak and a small group of his soldiers was creeping up on them. Catching them by surprise, a firefight broke out immediately. Captain Deepak fearlessly continued to direct his men as he attempted to pin the terrorists down with continuous fire from his rifle. It was in this crossfire, as he tried to protect his men, that your son Deepak fell. He fought not just with weapons, but with the strength of his heart and the depth of his convictions. He was not merely defending a piece of land. He was protecting the dreams and hopes of millions, which for army families are more than just words. It is because of young men like him, Mr. and Mrs. Singh, that we sleep soundly at night knowing our borders are secure. Your son was more than an officer in the Indian Army. He was a true hero, a leader of men, and a beacon of courage who led from the front in the face of unimaginable danger. And we have to constantly remind ourselves that he was 26 years old. I know that no words can ease the pain of losing your son, but I hope you can find some comfort in knowing how deeply he touched the lives of those around him. Captain Deepak Singh was the embodiment of bravery and dedication. He stood tall in the face of adversity, fighting with unwavering resolve to protect the nation he loved, to protect his men. He was a human who lived by his principles, who led by example, and who inspired everyone who had the honor of knowing him. And believe me, I've spent the day speaking to those who fought alongside him. The loss of such a remarkable young man is a wound that time may never fully heal. But please know that his sacrifice, your son's sacrifice, was not in vain. He has left behind a young legacy, a very young legacy of honor and valor that will inspire generations to come. The nation owes him an immense debt of gratitude, and we all share in your grief, even if we can never truly share your pain. Deepak has made the ultimate sacrifice, and for that, we are forever in his debt. Please accept our deepest condolences and my heartfelt respect. Deepak's memory will live on in the hearts of all those who knew him, and his story will be told as an example of what it means to be truly brave and truly fearless. Thank you to Deepak, and thank you for his service. Young Captain Deepak was killed in action a day ahead of Independence Day. This counter-terror operation in Jammu and Kashmir's Doda forests saw one terrorist being killed and a hunt continuing for 3 more terrorists in the Doda area. Army Chief General Upendra Dwivedi has already briefed Defence Minister Rajnath Singh on the ongoing search operation. Deepak Singh, a captain, rank officer of the Indian Army from the 48 Rashtriya Rifles, was killed in action during that gunfight that I have just described to you with the terrorists in ongoing Operation Assar. Assar is the name of the thick forest in Doda where this encounter took place. The remaining 3 terrorists have been cornered by our forces. An M4 carbine rifle along with some rucksack bags have already been recovered. Blood spatters have been found, which suggests that the terrorists have been shot, they've been injured, and will hopefully be eliminated very soon. The forces are now aiming to neutralize them by sundown tonight. I want to go across to India today. Sunil ji, live with us from Jammu. He's been tracking the story very, very closely. Sunil, Captain Deepak, the latest and youngest of the officers, who've been killed in action in a continuing surge of terror attacks and encounters, this time in the Doda region. We understand that his bravery has already been understood. He was leading from the front in this particular attack. Tell us about what we know from what happened. The encounter is still on, apparently.
Shiv, in the last 33 months, we have lost more than 50 of our brave hearts. More than 50 of our brave hearts have made the supreme sacrifice of their lives. And unfortunately, we have lost one more brave heart today. Captain Deepak attained Veer Gati. He was leading from the front. And as you very well, put out this tribute for him, he was leading from the front. And there was a specific input that the security forces had yesterday that there was presence of terrorists in the Assar forest belt in Doda district of Jammu region. And based on that specific input, a massive anti-terror operation was launched across the length and breadth of Doda district. Additional troops were also rushed. And late last evening, the security forces were successful in establishing a contact with the terrorists. And after that, a gunfight broke out, a fierce encounter broke out. Unfortunately, this morning we got this tragic news that a captain rank officer, Captain Deepak, attained Veer Gati. He made the supreme sacrifice of his life. And even now, a massive search operation is on. One terrorist has been eliminated. That's what the confirmation is coming from the army. There are reports doing the rounds on social media that all 4 terrorists have been neutralized. But body of only one terrorist has been recovered so far.
Yes.
Hunt is on for the remaining 3 terrorists, but it seems that all 4 terrorists were in injured condition because blood stains were found at various parts in this forest belt of Assar. Shiv, American-made M4 carbine rifle has also been recovered. AK-47 rifle has also been recovered, and it shows that these terrorists are coming for a long haul. They want to bleed Jammu and Kashmir. They want to create mayhem in Jammu and Kashmir.
Absolutely.
And it's a very, challenging task for the security forces to neutralize these terrorists. And our heart goes out to the families of our brave hearts who are working in adverse circumstances. And Shiv, you have documented the valor, the courage of our brave hearts, and hats off to you that the coming generations are going to know about the sacrifices, the valor, the indomitable spirit of our Jawans. Shiv.
Thank you very much, Sunil. We will continue to track this heartbreaking story, and I join you in hoping that our forces are successful in eliminating the 3 additional terrorists who have no doubt been injured, but we need to see their bodies, and hopefully that will happen soon. Thanks very much, Sunil, for continuing to report on this encounter. And as Sunil said, terror is bleeding Jammu and Kashmir, especially the Jammu division. Captain Deepak is only the latest to fall in an encounter. There have been 9 attacks in just the last 2 months. This is the August 14th Doda encounter in which Deepak, a young officer of the Indian Army, has been killed in action. On August the 10th, just 4 days ago in Anantnag, in an encounter, 2 special forces men lost their lives. A total of 4 people lost their lives in that encounter. In July 27th in Kupwara, this is in North Kashmir, 1 security personnel lost his life. On July the 22nd in Rajouri, again in Jammu division, in an encounter, 1 security personnel was injured. On July the 15th, there was a Doda encounter in which 3 Jawans, 1 officer and 1 policeman lost their lives. On July the 9th in Kathua, 5 Jawans were killed in action. June the 13th in Gando encounter, a policeman was injured. June the 12th in Chattargala encounter, a Pakistani terrorist was killed, injuries to Indian forces. On June the 9th, the Riyasi terror attack, this was the day the new government was sworn in. 9 civilian unarmed pilgrims were massacred by terrorists who had infiltrated possibly across the international border. Now, India's security forces are on high alert as they execute a range of strategic operations to safeguard our frontiers, from the line of control to the international border. Our special report now by Mir Farid takes you to the front line where every second counts. This is from Gurez, one of the most beautiful parts of the country, but also one of the most vulnerable to infiltrations. Take a look.
We have seen the changing dynamics of the terror threat, and we also know what's been happening in Jammu with the kind of attacks that have been happening in the forest area and also on the army formations. Now, keeping in with the new challenge, the army is also training its soldiers accordingly. Now, we are at one such training ground in Gurez, and as you can see, the army Jawans are getting special training as to how to go about close quarter combat situation, wherein you have to face the enemy from close quarters, and the Jawans of the Rashtriya Rifles are being trained as far as the new terror challenge is concerned. Now,
forces on highest level of alert after heightened terror activity across LOC.
इनपुट मिलता है, कितनी जल्दी आप तैयार हो जाते हैं?
हम विदिन 30 सेकंड के अंदर गेट छोड़ देते हैं। जैसे स्पेसिफिक इनपुट कोई मिलता है 30 सेकंड में आप गेट छोड़ देते हैं।
तो कितना टाइम मिलता है यहाँ आपको रिलैक्स करने के लिए? कोई टाइम रहता है ऐसा, या 24 घंटे?
हम 24 घंटे तैयार रहते हैं। जैसे ही इनपुट मिलता है हम तुरंत तैयार होते हैं, 30 सेकंड में गेट छोड़ देते हैं।
सर, तो आपके अंडर कितने?
हम 10 जवान हैं।
10 जवान। तो यही आपका पैटर्न, आपकी ट्रेनिंग ऐसी है कि आप जो है इसी के लिए रेडी रहते हैं, या फिर
इसकी ट्रेनिंग मिली हुई है? ये जवान मेंटली, हेल्थली और फायरिंग में अव्वल दर्जे के हैं, इसलिए इनको छांट के अलग सिक्योरिटी में रखा गया है।
जिस प्रकार से आज के एनवायरनमेंट में देख सकते हैं कि टेररिस्ट का जो मॉडस ऑपरेंडी चेंज होता रहता है, इसी प्रकार हम भी अपनी सिखलाई में बदलाव लाने की कोशिश करते हैं और अपने जवानों को नई तकनीक्स और नए वेपन से पूरी तरह से वाकिफ कराते हैं, जो कि लाइव ऑपरेशंस में आप देख सकते हैं कि हमारे जवान पूरी तरह से पूरे कश्मीर वैली में सिचुएशन को कंट्रोल कर रहे हैं और टेररिस्ट को पूरी तरह से न्यूट्रलाइज करने में सक्षम हैं।
Drones are airborne, keeping a hawk eye on infiltration bid.
ये बताइए कि ड्रोन जो है आपको प्रॉपर इसमें ट्रेनिंग मिली है?
हमें ड्रोन उड़ाने से पहले कुछ समय इसके साथ रहना पड़ता है और प्रॉपर ट्रेनिंग लेनी पड़ती है। उसके बाद जब हम इसमें ट्रेनिंग में माहिर हो जाते हैं, उसके बाद हमें इसको उड़ाने दिया जाता है।
जी, कितना हेल्प मिल रहा है आपको इस ड्रोन से? मतलब कितना ये देख पाता है? क्या मौसम इस पे इफेक्ट करता है?
मौसम का इस पे काफी इफेक्ट रहता है, लेकिन इसकी मदद से हम बहुत जल्दी किसी रेखी करनी होती है बड़ी एरिया की, तो उसको हम जल्दी से रेखी कर पाते हैं और कुछ मूवमेंट होता है तो उसको हम क्लियर देख लेते हैं। लगातार सर्वेलेंस के लिए ये बहुत अच्छा इक्विपमेंट है जो कि हमें डिफेंस ने दिया है।
Army's all-terrain vehicles are proving to be a boon in quick troop mobilization.
सर, एटीवी से आपको कितना हेल्प मिला है?
एटीवी से सर हमारे को बहुत हेल्प मिलता है, क्योंकि ये एक ऐसा व्हीकल है इंडियन आर्मी का जो कि जहाँ की और सेना के व्हीकल नहीं जा सकते। कहीं भी कोई पहाड़ी हो, जहाँ ऐसा कोई रास्ता हो जहाँ कोई और गाड़ी नहीं जा सकती है, वहाँ पहुँच जाती है। जी
तो
सर।
कहाँ आप इसको लेके, मतलब पहाड़ों की तरफ भी ऊपर जा सकते हैं आप?
जी सर, ऊपर भी जा सकते हैं इसको।
तो मतलब वो स्पीड भी नॉर्मल रहती है, जल्दी आप सिक्योरिटी पहुँच जाती है?
जी सर, जी सर।
हम सभी का रूटीन वाइज काम होता है। जैसे हमें ड्यूटी नियुक्त होती है, हम अपनी ड्यूटी लगातार गश्त 24 घंटे देते रहते हैं और उसके बाद हमें रिलीफ मिलती है, अगले टास्क के लिए फिर रेडी होते हैं।
The Indian Army is on the highest alert. Normally also they are on the alert, but since now the threat, the danger is clear and present, so the army is on the highest alert. As you can see, the Jawans do 24/7 surveillance, they do their duties, there is patrolling that is ongoing, and then if you have specific intel inputs, the QRTs come in, the area surveillance comes in. So every step in the book is being taken by the army to ensure that there is zero infiltration. These are the sharpshooters, and in fact even through the camera you will find hard to find them. This is the camouflage. Sir, आप स्नाइपर हैं, तो ये बताइए कि कितने दिनों तक यहीं बैठे रहते हैं ऐसी सेटिंग में?
हम यहाँ पे वेज रेडी होके आते हैं 72 आवर्स के लिए। बाकी मौसम और हालात को देखते हुए हम आगे भी बढ़ा सकते हैं। 72 आवर्स के लिए हम दोनों बड्डी एक साथ रहते हैं और राशन साथ लाते हैं और इसी आगे की जो एलसी है उसकी यहाँ से निगरानी करते रहते हैं हम।
The snipers, which are considered to be the eyes of the army in locations like the line of control in Gurez, these Jawans who are highly trained sharpshooters and keep an eagle's eye on the environment, on what's happening, on infiltration, and their duty can go on for as long as 72 hours.
The medium machine guns with the forces are the principal weapon of choice to neutralize intruders.
We are at one such MMG post, that's medium machine gun post, and this is the main weapon of the army when it comes to the line of control. As you can see, there are two Jawans who are posted non-stop constant, and this is the MMG, the weapon that is so forceful that the enemy definitely does not want to come in the range of an MMG, because this weapon can fire 500 to 600 rounds in a minute, and the firing can go on non-stop.
The Braves on perennial vigil to thwart Pakistan's nefarious terror designs. With Mir Fareed on the LOC at Gurez, Bureau Report, India Today.
What you've basically seen at this point of time is a live ground report by India Today's Mir Fareed depicting what the Indian Army continues to do even on the eve of Independence Day. There is no shortage of training. There is no shortage of preparedness or readiness. Most of our soldiers don't have the luxury of leave over Independence Day. They will hoist their flags, they will salute the Tiranga, and they will celebrate Independence Day at their positions. These are pictures from just a few hours ago, a couple of days ago as well, of our soldiers in an army unit on the frontier, on the line of control in one of the most vulnerable zones of North Kashmir. We've got some breaking news coming in now. And we've got some breaking news coming in. Colonel Manpreet Singh of the Indian Army, that name may not ring a bell. Colonel Manpreet Singh, the commanding officer of the Indian Army's 19 Rashtriya Rifles, who bravely led his unit from the front in a terror encounter in Anantnag last September, being killed in action while bravely confronting terrorists head-on, is being decorated with India's second highest peacetime gallantry award, the Kirti Chakra. The Kirti Chakra, remember, is India's peacetime equivalent of the Mahavir Chakra. The Kirti Chakra is being bestowed on Colonel Manpreet Singh of the 19 Rashtriya Rifles posthumously. A total of 4 personnel, including 3 army men, have been awarded the Kirti Chakra this Independence Day. The other 2 Kirti Chakra recipients from the army are Rifleman Ravi Kumar and Major M. Naidu. Colonel Manpreet Singh was one of 3 people, including another officer and a Jammu and Kashmir policeman, who were killed in action during a gunfight with terrorists in Anantnag district in September last year. He was a Rashtriya Rifles unit commanding officer of the rank of colonel. He is survived by his wife Jagmeet Kaur, a 6-year-old son and a 2-year-old daughter. Colonel Manpreet Singh and his story received a huge amount of media attention last September. I wonder how many of our viewers actually remember. We'll be putting his picture on your screen, and that will probably jog your memory. It was a story of incredible valor, incredible bravery against all odds. A colonel rank officer, commanding officer of a unit, who usually never really get into operations directly because they're required for more of a leadership role. This brave officer, Colonel Manpreet Singh, led his unit from the front. Very, very tragically, he's lost his life. He was killed in action, and he receives this Independence Day. His family will receive, in his name, India's second highest peacetime gallantry award. Rifleman Ravi Kumar and Major M. Naidu also receive the same award, the Kirti Chakra, this Independence Day. Colonel Manpreet Singh, that was the other officer with him, Major Ashish Dhonchak. He has also been decorated. We'll get you an update on the decoration for Major Ashish also in a moment. But the Kirti Chakra for Colonel Manpreet has just been announced by the government and will be received by his family.